Hockey town, going down to hockey town, whoa, whoa. Hockey town, take me down to hockey town, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection show is on the air. We got a special summer edition. The high schools are practicing this summer. They get 2 months. The State High School League changed their rules, so they got 2 months of practicing with their coaches. And I'm going to have a special guest, and his name is John Barger. He's coached at many high schools around the state and out in North Dakota. And we'll get him on the phone right now. And we'll talk about high school hockey, and he has one of the biggest scrimmages. It is the biggest scrimmage in high school hockey.
Hello.
Hello, John. Can you hear me?
You there?
Yeah. We got John Barger, former coach of, he was born in Farmington, Minnesota boy. And you coached at Northfield, Jamestown, St. Louis Park, Austin. Was Brainerd in there?
Yeah, 1 year in Brainerd.
Brainerd and New Prague. That's all.
Burnsville.
Yep. Burnsville was your second last place.
Right.
That's where you started your Summer Fest scrimmages. But first of all, you were a Hall of Fame coach in 2013. You were given that honor with two other big coaches, Pat Geyer and Bruce Olson. Boy, I remember those coaches. Boy, what a group you guys are.
Yeah, those were two really good coaches and really good guys.
So let's get right down to it. Of all these places that you coached, do you have a favorite?
Boy, that's a great question. You know, everyone is a little different. Most of them were in a rebuilding situation. I really enjoyed Jamestown, North Dakota. I was there 5 years, and I just got to the point where you had to settle in. I'm from the cities area, so I kind of wanted to get back here. So I was just trying to work my way back. But you know, St. Louis Park and Jamestown were probably the two toughest to leave.
How did you ever get out to Jamestown?
Well, to be honest with you, Jerry, when I was out of college, there wasn't any teaching jobs, so I was teaching part-time at Rosemount and coaching, the head coaching in Northfield. And so I had to, you had to go where the jobs were, and so I applied out there, and it's a nice community, so I ended up out there for 5 years, but really made a lot of good friends and a lot of good coaches that actually came back to the cities area. At one time, a guy from North Dakota was at Wayzata, and Blake and myself at St. Louis Park, and Wayne Eklund was at Eden Prairie. So we had 5 guys from the same conference, basically, in the metro area coaching at one time after I had left Jamestown.
But St. Louis Park was another favorite. I bet were you in a league with Edina back then? Was it St. Louis Park?
The conference was way different then. We were with Edina and Wayzata, Minnetonka, Eden Prairie, Richfield. Had gone to the state tournament. They were a really strong team. Armstrong was a really good team. So every night was a battle. It was just an outstanding conference and very challenging to say the least.
Who was coaching Edina back then?
Ike.
Oh, really?
Ike was my first 3 or 4 years, and then Bart came. I think I was there 3 years for Ike and 2 years for Bart.
All right. That's fun. Well, John, you're known for having the biggest scrimmages in high school hockey in Minnesota in the summertime. And you've been doing this Summerfest for maybe over 20 years. How many years has it been?
I think this is the started in 98, so this is the 24th year.
And I know I've been to every one of them almost. And follow Coach Randolph from Duluth East down there, and started at Burnsville, then you went to Egan, then you went to St. Louis Park, then you went to Braemar. You've been
Yeah,
around.
well, yeah, we kind of it did get bigger. So as it got bigger, we had to add. We started at Burnsville, like you mentioned, with just 16 varsity teams. That was the first year. I was on that executive board for the high school coaches, and we fought hard to be able to work with our kids in the summer. And so we had, I think we had end of May to the last week of July to work with them. By the time school was out, you had about 6 weeks with them. And so I thought it'd be fun just to have the kids have something to look forward to, for at the end of the summer training. And, like you mentioned, Mike's been there every year since I've had it, that he was at Duluth, all those years. And then this year he's coming back with St. Thomas, and last year with St. Thomas. And he's been, always had this. I think they've won it. Geez, I think the first 15 years, Mike's teams had to win it 9 or 10 times. It was like, it got to the point I said, I'll just send the T-shirts to you.
Send it a week before the tournament.
But good teams, we always have just really, really strong teams. And there was a time when Eastview was, state contender all the time, and they were in it. So we just had, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you had Eden Prairie in there every year for a long time too. They were good teams there, state championship teams, really. So But
it's amazing how the kids, you think that these kids aren't in game shape, but they're resilient. There's been a couple of years where the kids have had to come on Sunday, and they're in a bracket where they had to win 3 games to win the whole tournament. And I think twice it's happened where they've come all the way. I think last year Andover did that. They won the whole tournament with coming through had to play 3 games on Sunday.
Funny story, when you first started this down in Burnsville, I remember I think it was the first year that I come in there, and you told whoever was running the rink in the morning there not to let anyone in free. So I come in, and this guy says you can't come in unless you pay. So Coach Randolph had to come out and say I was a coach then just to get me in. And then I talked to you. So now every year I have to go through your people. And they said when Jerry comes in, charge him double.
That's right. And 24 years later, you still haven't paid, and I'm still going to keep charging you.
Isn't that beautiful? But then again, when I go to all these other games, they're so nice to me, John. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I think we've fed you pretty good over the years.
You have.
Jerry,
you do the best job of anyone that does scrimmages, tournaments, or anyone by far. So I'll give you credit. So
I think it comes from coaching. You kind of what the coaches want. You know what you would want it to be like if your kids were in it. So it kind of makes it a little easier for me because I had 27 years of coaching. So you kind of have a good feel for what coaches expect and how they want it to look and how they want it for their kids. So that helped me a lot with it. It really did.
Right. And another thing I'll always remember all your summer fest and holiday tournaments is that you always had top teams. I mean, you had a lot of top 10 teams in your scrimmages and tournaments, and that's another beauty about what you've done.
Yeah, well, thank you. And that's kind of the key to it. If you want to get teams, Mike Randolph's teams down from Duluth East, and we had Grand Rapids used to come down, and you got to get good quality teams. They don't want to come down and not play quality. And it's the same for the Christmas tournaments. Last year we had Andover and Maple Grove, and they finished in the state finals, and Wayzata, and next year Minnetonka, Stillwater's coming back, and we just have really, really good quality teams. Lakeville South, and there's just Benilde, a lot of top, like you said, top end teams. And I think as long as you try to do a really good job of running the tournament and they get quality games in, that's what they're looking for. When we changed our format, when we first started, we just played a tournament. And, you just draw names, and then whoever they got, they had to play. And then the coaches kind of decided that they would, like to be able to, designate the teams they want to play to plan their schedule so they're not playing conference games or somebody they've already played once or twice during the year. So we've changed the format. I would like to go back to the tournaments format. It's a lot easier for me, but as long as they want it to be where they designate who they want, that's what we'll do.
Right, whatever works. So
yeah, that's right.
I'm looking at your schedule for the varsity for the Summerfest here, which is next week at Bloomington Ice Gardens. I tell you, folks, if anyone's in the cities next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I would get out to Bloomington, and out in Plymouth you have about 6 teams out in Plymouth too, but most of the teams are in Bloomington Ice Gardens at Big. And I noticed the teams, you got, I would say, in my preseason poll already, you got 6 of the top 10 teams there. And then when it comes to the winter, the holiday tournament, you got 3 more teams coming in that will be in my top 10, like Benil, Hill, and I forget the other team. But you're getting almost...
and Cretin.
Yep.
They're Lakeville South, I'm sure.
Andover, Maple Grove.
Yeah.
Wayzata will be there at the end.
I'm surprised that there's not more than 3, Jerry, in your top 10.
No, I got 6.
Oh, okay.
I got 6 for the Summerfest.
Okay, 6 for
And I got 3 more in the holiday tournament. They're not in the summer. So,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. So you got all these.
You got St. Thomas right behind Moorhead too, don't you?
I got St. Thomas is not in there because they're too young. But I got Moorhead number 1 coming in.
I agree with you there. They've got just about everybody back. Plus, their Bantams won the state tournament and their Pee-wees won. Right. He's got quite a. They're pretty fortunate there. They've got Matt Cullen coaching their Bantams, and
because he has some of his boys.
Their Pee-wees. So it's a heck of a nice job to have a Hall of Famer, going to be a Hall of Famer in coaching your Bantams in the NHL, and then his brother coaching in the system. And they just have a really good program up there, good numbers, and they've been able to hold most of their kids. That's kind of the key. You get those good kids coming through, and a lot of them leave, and that's the tough part about high school.
And plus the Collins and a lot of people have really put into the money even for new rinks and everything up there. And I think it's the best program in the state myself. And
it is. And Dave Morinville's still behind the scenes a little bit. He helps out whenever they ask him with some fundraising things. And
the former coach of Moorhead.
That's a heck of a program. It really is. And every year they're in contention to go to the state, and they always fare well when they get there. And they remind me a lot of the old Duluth teams. It didn't really matter during the season so much as towards the end in the playoffs and then making your runs in the state tournament. And they always seem to be able to raise the bar when they get to that time of the year.
Okay, I'm going back on your Summerfest this coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Bloomington Ice Gardens in Plymouth Ice Center. You got 5 pools of 4 teams each over at Big. And then you got 6 teams over at Wayzata. So how does this work to get to Sunday?
So the winner of each pool advances to Sunday, and then the sixth team one gets 2, and then they play down. It all goes to Bloomington for the varsity on Sunday, and then there's 6 teams they play down for a championship Sunday afternoon.
So some team has to play 3 games probably?
Well, they could, if they're in that pool where there's 2 teams that comes out of that one pool, they have to win. They would have to win 3 games to win it all. Yes, okay. There's 2 teams in that situation, so one of the 2 could play 3 games if they continue to win.
Right. So
which is a lot, but
well, they're young kids; they can do it.
They really, they're so resilient. I mean, you've seen it. I mean, they play like it's mid-season. Honest to goodness, those kids play hard in there. I mean, I remember when Middlestead was playing for Eden Prairie, he was playing like 2 and 3 shifts in the summer, and I'm going, well, you got to be kidding me. And he just kept playing and playing and playing, and I mean,
rink rats.
They we give away silly T-shirts, and you've seen them, and the kids, I know the Duluth kids just loved them, and Mike used to say they always wear them home, and they go down to
Beach,
whatever
down to
the
Park
park
Point.
is. Point
They go
Park,
down
is
to
that
Park
the name of
Point.
it?
Yep.
Park
Take
Point,
pictures
yeah,
on the
kind of
beach.
show off their new T-shirt.
Yeah, it's funny how you can have fun over nothing.
Yeah, and they take so much pride in their just silly T-shirts, and they're kind of a funny design, but they just love them. I think, like I said, Duluth was having a good time collecting them for the first 12 years of the tournament.
Yeah. I was just thinking, so you're going to have a lot of people down there because the parents and family and everyone comes into this, and then hockey fans will be coming at down to these tournaments in the summer because they just want to see what's going on. But what do you think? I mean, it seems like, remember 20 years ago when Russo started the Elite League and Herb Brooks was trying to do the same thing,
Yep.
and it really worked in the beginning. But do you think it's still working?
You know, the premise of that was to keep kids in high school hockey, to give them those extra games, before the season. I think, just my opinion, I think that it's still working. I still think it's a good thing. I still think they get some good exposure from the scouts. My one concern about it is it getting too watered down? I don't know. It's like the maroon and gold game. You used to have 2 teams. Now we've got 8, and it's hard to. They're trying to showcase the kids. I understand that, and they're trying to get them as much exposure as they can. But it's the design was obviously to hold the kids. I don't know if it's quite as effective as it was at one point when it first came out. But anything we can do to keep them in high school hockey, I guess, is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it seems like more and more are leaving early because they're told that you need the games and you need tougher competition and you need faster and stronger players so you can get stronger. But I think my opinion is that I think just have fun in high school, stay in high school. You got time. What's the rush?
And I couldn't agree more with you. And, there's so many great examples of when Matt Cullens won.
Yep.
Kid Eric Rasmussen, who played for me at St. Louis Park, is another.
You coach Eric? Yeah, hell of a player.
I used, first and second round draft choices, and they both had great careers in the NHL. And, Matt, I think he played, 21 or 22 years, and they actually still coaching.
Amazing.
Still coaching with Pittsburgh. Yeah, I remember he was 41 years old, 40 or 41, and they're in the Stanley Cup Finals, and late in the period, 42nd, and they got him out taking the face-offs. I mean, it's crazy. And those kids all stayed in high school, all had great college careers, phenomenal, pro careers. And there's a lot of horror stories on the other side that you never hear about, these kids who give up that opportunity to go to homecoming and prom and be part of their high school team and lose all that because they're chasing the dream. And like you mentioned, that junior league was designed by Harry Brown all those years ago, the USHL, and it was for kids that were late developers who needed a little more time to, go to the next level and not take these 15 and 16-year-old kids out of high school because you can't get those years back, as you know.
Right. And it's kind of funny, I think these kids now are a lot stronger, but now, holy cows, the game changed in just 20 years where these kids play the game the whole year now. 20 years ago, at least half of them would play in other sports and that,
Yeah, isn't it amazing that for me, you watch hockey today, and they are so skilled. I mean, it's just amazing. That high school game last year, the Maple Grove end. I mean, I was like, these kids are
They're
like
flying
really
up and down that
players
ice
already.
Both ways.
Yes, unbelievable. And it has. I mean, but I think we have 6 or 7 kids picked for the U.S. 17 under 17 team.
Yep.
So out of Minnesota. So, we're still kicking out a good product, and the kids they're getting to the level they need to get at. I think that's really good proof right there. 6 or 7 kids out of Minnesota, out of the whole country that are, make that team. We're still kicking out excellent kids. And, people don't understand, but California and Texas, these the states are kicking out awful good hockey players now because they're playing at a high level, and they don't have high school hockey, but they go to the junior way, and they're good players too. So
Or they go with the AAA teams that are connected with the pro teams and that.
yes,
And
that's
then-
right.
but
AAA, yep.
I have a friend out in California has 3 boys at different age groups, and he's spending close to $100,000 a year for the 3.
You got to be kidding me.
No, they have to travel tournaments. They don't have anyone to play. LA and
He must
Anaheim.
be a
You have to go
retired-
to
he must be a
Phoenix and San
retired
Jose
teacher.
a lot. And then they go out to Canada, back east a lot, and up to the Twin
Unbelievable.
Cities for a tournament. So the traveling and the
Oh,
practice time. Oh,
they get like
$500 an hour.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. $400 to $500 an hour. It's not. Can't spend a lot of time talking on the ice at that rate. Holy buckets.
Yeah, so it's a different game in certain areas, but if you have money, I guess it's nothing.
Minnesota's still the number 1 in the country. There's no doubt. I mean, we have the best kids. We have the best tournament. Everybody just admires what happens here, and we just have to keep the good kids so it continues to grow, because it's an amazing event, high school hockey in Minnesota.
And we got to support the families that don't have the money in that, so that get their kids involved, because what's better than having a kid playing sports? A lot better than having them out in the street with the wrong people.
No, you're exactly right, and there's too much of that going on now anyway. So keeping them active, and I think things like pull tabs and fundraising things are so good for people who need some financial assistance, and they can get that anonymously, done it. And I think it's the best thing you can do for them.
Yeah. So I was looking at your schedule again, and I'm just thinking, everything changes. Maybe my top 10 teams, where when you get to the first day of practice, then you find out someone left early, and it really messes up with the team when you get a star player.
It does. Absolutely.
So
yeah.
you can't do anything really until that first day of practice, who shows up.
No, that's right. And we get some college scouts down to come and watch and stuff. It's really hard for them because we can't, we don't have designated numbers and stuff, but the kids wear their same number for the weekend, but it's hard for them to identify anything because there's no programs and stuff, because the coaches just hand the jerseys out, for the weekend. So but we get a lot of guys down, and it creates some interest. And again, it's exposing kids. So, I think it's a really a fun event.
It's amazing how long we've been with this game and that, because a lot of friends, pro scouts and that, they're all retiring. We just got Mike McGraw is retiring now.
Mike is okay.
Yeah, and Eddie retired a couple years ago for 40 years with New Jersey. We got Janander, Bob Janander. He retired a couple years ago. By the way, just our thoughts and prayers go out to Keith Hendrickson. He had a bypass surgery, so he's doing good.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Just a little while ago. So
I'll have to send him a note.
yeah, so they say he's doing good. So
yeah, we've got too many friends that are involved with hockey and friends that are going through a lot of issues. Boy, we just gotta be grateful, I guess.
But I always talk to these old guys. They knew the game. And they're shaking their heads a lot now.
Yeah, a lot of them are moving on, but you've been at it a long time, Jerry, and that's what people do.
And by the way, besides John promoting the Summerfest with these 26 teams, and you got a JV tournament over in St. Louis Park, a lot of these teams have their teams there, the JV, over in St. Louis Park. So that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the varsity's at the big Bloomington Ice Gardens. So if you're in the cities, you love hockey, get down there, because they're going at it like it's mid-season.
No, you're exactly right. And we have the 6 teams at Plymouth also.
Right. And then in the winter, you got the Thanksgiving tournament with just 4 teams over at Pago Arena in Minnetonka. You got Andover, Chanhassen. Just think if Chanhassen and Chaska were together, I think they would have some state tournament teams.
Yeah, we'll look at Lakeville North and South too.
Yep, that's true. And
so
it's kind of funny. The two first round draft picks were both from Chaska.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be. They're the Chanhassen. I think is the up and coming program. You know, they're that well like Eden Prairie was a few years ago. That
Right.
you know they're going to really be a strong program coming now, and so as the growth comes away from the cities more into the suburbs, those teams like Shakopee will probably have really good numbers now, and Chanhassen, and so it's going to continue to grow.
So, just to tell you, the folks, a little bit on winter, where you have the Holiday Classic, which is right after Christmas on the 27th, 28th, 29th, and you got 8 teams over at Maple Grove Ice Arena, and you got 8 over at St. Louis Park. And some of the better teams I'm looking at: Wayzata, Maple Grove, Cretin, Gentry. And then over at St. Louis Park, you got Hill, Benil, you got the private schools there, Chanhassen, Lakeville South. Boy, you got some good teams.
Andover.
Yep. Let's see.
Yeah, there's some really nice, really great hockey. I tell you, we get really good support from the fans, and the hockey is just spectacular. I think we've been drawing about 100 to 125 scouts, for the exposure for the kids again, and
Right.
so it's been really good. I hope we can continue to keep it going.
Yep. And I'll tell you another thing is last year was very low on talent I vote for Mr. Hockey, and I had a hard time in the beginning of the year to get 7 players that I could even name that I thought should be on there. It took me almost the whole season to get to that 7. And then this year, we don't know if they're staying or leaving early, but I've got 20 already that would be on my list.
Jeez.
I mean, it's crazy. This is going to be a great year for hockey if these kids stay.
Yeah, and most of them will. You're going to lose some,
Right.
but I think most will stay.
Right. Well, John, it's been fun talking. What we have to do is before the holiday tournaments, get you back on, and I want to talk more about where the game's going and how we can make it better. What's your opinion on some of the things? Because I think we're in a little trouble, especially outstate, like Duluth
no, I
area,
agree.
the Range.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not good to have just the Twin Cities, and if you can't compete with them, that's going to change the game a lot, I think.
No, and I think everybody loves when Rapids can come, Duluth East, Roseville, some of those outstate communities. People they just love to have that flavor from the north. And we used to always play or scrimmage against the Randolph teams because it's a different style. That's just a different, and the kids need to learn that. There's different ways people approach the game, and it's always great to get the outstate teams in. Cloquet is another one that you just love, and so I just think Hermantown, get those teams coming here, or the city's teams going up there. It's just a great blend, and
Right.
it's really good for the fans and for the kids, and and Hermantown's another one that people love to cheer for. I think AA would be right in their wheelhouse because they beat most of the teams they play in AA during the year anyway.
Yep. Okay, Hall of Fame coach John Barger. Summerfest this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Bloomington Ice Gardens and Plymouth Ice Center. So, plus JV over at St. Louis Park. Well, thank you, John. We'll talk again soon. See you this weekend.
Thanks. Thank you, Jerry. Bye-bye.
So that's it for the Minnesota Hockey Connection show. Have a good week and see you at the rink.